Welcome to WatchMojo.com. I'm Brian Simpson. I'm here today with Dale Curd. He's a counselor and men's issues specialist, and he's partnered with Travelocity.ca to uncover what women really want for travel this winter. Dale, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So where do men really miss the mark when it comes to understanding women's wants and needs?
Men typically miss the mark when it comes to Valentine's Day by being, I think, a little too routine, a little too predictable. They miss the element of surprise. Travelocity commissioned a survey recently, and they found that 90% of the women that they surveyed, and this is between the ages of 30 and 50, said that they would like nothing more than to be surprised with a getaway by their partner. 90%. So that tells me that men are kind of missing this idea of how important surprise actually is.
So what were some of the more popular destinations that women were looking for, the types of trips that women were looking for?
Well, there were really two types of trips that showed up in the survey from Travelocity.ca. The first type I'll call this sort of frugal beach holiday trip. A lot of women responded in the survey that if money was a factor, then what they would really want is they would want an economical or a budget-conscious beach holiday to places like the Mayan Riviera, for instance, Costa Rica as an example, which are beautiful, beautiful places, and deliver on, transporting the couple to a new environment where they can explore. And then there was another question that really came out of the survey, which kind of countered this, which I think gets to what women really want, which is they wanted to go to Europe as a destination. They would love to be surprised by a European vacation. And I think that's about romance. I think what that really says is that women are looking for more romance, and they're looking to connect to a place, and there are lots of those in Europe, where romance has a legacy, if you will.
So are the standard romantic gestures, the flowers on the bed and the candlelit dinners, are those what women are really looking for from men, or are they expecting more?
I always say that the things like candlelight dinners and chocolates and roses, those are important things. They're like calling cards for romance. So they're not the end all or be all. They're important, meaningful symbols, but they're not as important as gestures that really get to the heart of who the other individual is. And that's a thing that I think most men underestimate, is that what women are really looking for is something that connects to them as individuals and surprises them.
So in your experience, can a vacation help to reignite a dwindling flame in a relationship, or even ignite a flame in a new couple?
Going to a new place and experiencing a new culture is one of the best ways to open a person up. And when a person is open, they're open to love, they're open to new experiences, they're open to having their perspective on life changed, and that leads to intimacy. Travel is one of the most effective ways to have a person let their guard down, all of their ego defenses, and actually start to embrace something that's different. And in the process of relating to something that's different, they discover new things about themselves. And what's so fascinating about that in a relationship is that when you have two people who are experiencing that, they have so much to grow from that if they share it back and forth. Because a relationship grows when new things are brought into the relationship. There becomes more things to discuss and more things to experience, if you will.
So for men looking to give the gift of travel, are there any tips you can provide to help them in their planning, or even some favorite romantic destinations you can recommend?
Let's talk first about the couple that are kind of young and starting out and maybe just living together, the sort of young digerati kind of couple. Travel is a great opportunity for them to get to know each other at a deeper level. And one of the things that a guy could do, for instance, is he could surprise his partner with a travel book. Go out and buy the most amazing travel book that you can find for destinations like Guatemala, which is a rich, rich and diverse country and ecosystem, and surprise her with this and say, I'm thinking that this is where I want to take you. And actually have a dialogue about it, have an experiential dialogue. The second kind of couple that I think would really benefit from this is the planning couple. And everybody knows a couple that are just really good at executing a plan, and they actually thrive off of it, if you will. And so for that kind of a couple, he wants to bring home the brochures, he wants to bring home the guidebooks, he wants to, again, maybe bring in some music, bring in some food, and then lay it all out on the table and introduce it to her with a surprise and say, I'm want to take us here. This is where I'd like to take us. Let's get into it. Let's plan it. Let's figure out how we can make this happen. Let's explore new sights, new sounds. And then that's part of the connection for the couple because they both thrive on that.
How can we make the most of that short amount of time that we have to travel to really benefit our relationships with our significant others?
One of the most powerful ways for a couple that doesn't have a lot of time, let's say, so taking a 2-week vacation or a 1-week vacation, maybe even a stretch for them, is taking more frequent short vacations, 3 or 4 days, to destinations that would again have them open up their minds and have them really open up their experiences and their senses. So I'm thinking of destinations like New York City, which is very close for most Canadian destinations. It's a metropolis of art and food and so many different regions within the city to explore. New Orleans is another classic example. There's 400 or 500 years of history in this one place that's got a French language to it. So it feels similar to parts of Canada, but they speak it in a very, very different way. They have very different food. They have music that has a rich, rich tradition. These are short 3-night, 4-night kind of getaways that a couple could take and really re-explore who they are.
Dale, thanks for joining us today. Anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
I wanted to add that there are some great ideas and some amazing destinations listed at Travelocity.ca/Dale Curd. It's an awesome resource for men looking for ideas that will wow their partners.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.